Girl on the Train is the story of Rachel, a divorced alcoholic who rides the same train every single day, and every day she watches a collection of houses and imagines what kind of life the occupants are living, and she makes up backstories for them and fantasizes about their lives and their marriages and their relationships. But then one day she sees something out of place with one of the people living in one of the houses, and then she's thrust into a missing persons investigation, and now we have our mystery thriller drama of sorts. This film proved to me that patience is a virtue with these types of mystery films, because for the first 2/3 of this film I wasn't bored as hell, I just wasn't that interested in the story and the characters. It jumps back in time a lot, it concentrated on people and had confrontations that didn't seem to have any significance in the missing person plot point, the most advertised story arc in the trailers and the one that I wanted to know the most about. So I was sitting there wondering, what's the point in all this? Why are we focusing on these people? Can we get back to the missing persons plot please? And I thought I had the end revelation all figured out. I pieced together the dialogue and the hints from the trailer and the obvious answer to the mystery presented to us in the film, and I assumed I had the ending all figured out and I was just waiting for it to happen. But that's where my opinion on the film slightly changed, because the end revelation, which I will not spoil, was not what I thought it was going to be. I was wrong. I thought the film would end one way, but it actually ended another way. But it wasn't just that. It turns out that the stuff the film concentrated on that I thought had nothing to do with the main story of the missing girl was actually relevant all this time. It all comes together at the end, and it was one interwoven story, and that honestly surprised me. Which goes back to what I said earlier, patience. Just be patient, otherwise you're going to be uninterested like I was for the first 2/3 of the film, and you don't want that now. Now I'm not saying I went from being bored to loving the film all of a sudden because of the ending. I'm just saying that it didn't end how I thought it was going to end, and for me that bumped the film up from being boring to okay. Although the end surprised me in not being what I thought it was going to be, it still wasn't incredibly interesting or riveting, just not what I thought it was going to be, and I got to give the film credit for that. Outside the story, there's not really that much to talk about with The Girl on the Train. It's a competently made film in terms of the direction, the cinematography and the camera work. All of that is top notch. The acting was good, but the highlight is obviously Emily Blunt. She is by far the best part of this film. It's such a different role for her. She plays a sad, lonely, depressed alcoholic with a lot of emotional damage, which Blunt portrays very well, especially through her facial expressions. When you see her just staring out that window on that train, you can just detect the damage and emotional distress just by her facial expressions. She was really good in this film, and like I said, the best part of it all. In the end, The Girl on the Train was not as riveting as I wanted it to be, but not as incredibly boring as I feared it was going to be. I wasn't invested in it for the first 2 acts, then the final act lifted it up from being boring to okay thanks to it not ending the way I thought it would. And thanks to that ending, I'm going to give The Girl on the Train a 3 out of 5. But I want to know, what did you think of The Girl on the Train, and if you've read the novel, how does it compare to the novel? Is it a faithful adaptation to the book? I want to know all of your thoughts on The Girl on the Train down in the comments below. Thank you very much for watching and listening as always guys. If you want to see more of my stuff, be sure to subscribe, and to see my last videos, click on one of the annotations right here.